Well, since '06, it's been pretty much up and down. The tumors grow, the tumors restrict. I had surgery in February of this year they were going to try to go in and do another debulking. Well, when they got in there, they found that the tumors and its little fingers and weaves had woven themselves into my tissues of my stomach, the linings and everything, so they couldn't do a debulking. So what he did do for me, though, he put in a shunt